So quiet. It's like one of those 7-minute pauses in the conversation. Everybody's anxious.
It's not showing on the other screen, Brian. Are you hooked in?
Is it not?
No, it's not. You can do it wirelessly. Magic, thank you.
The effort.
Yeah,
Input.
and is it showing on yours now? Okay. Right, whenever you're ready.
Ready. Welcome to Ephraim City's city council meeting. Today is the 4th of March, 2026. As a reminder, it's daylight savings next Sunday, so turn your clock. How about ours? Don't forget. Anyway, we're gonna open this meeting with a roll call.
Councilmember Birch,
Present.
Councilmember Dennis Nordfeld is absent tonight. Mayor Larson,
I am present.
Councilmember Jeline,
Here.
Councilmember Bill,
Yes.
and Councilmember Steck.
Here. Excellent. The prayer will be given by our rec department.
Our dearly Father, we are grateful to be here today in this awesome city building to discuss matters of our city. We ask that thou would please bless our council members, that they will be able to do thy will here in the city, and that they will be able to make the tough choices and to be able to do what thou what's happened to you to direct this city. We're grateful for our neighbors, the residents we get to interact with every day, who help us to better serve them. And we pray that we will have a great meeting, and we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Jordan. Pledge will be led by our chief, our chief.
Everybody repeat my two allegiance after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, chief. All right, turning the page, our first order of business is consent items. We need a motion to ratify the warrant register for 12th to 26th January. And approve the city council meetings from the 18th of February.
I move that we approve the consent items.
Second.
Got it? Anthony,
Anthony, Jack.
yep, Anthony and Jack.
Sometimes I can't tell whose voice is whose.
All right, perfect. So I guess we'll vote on that. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? All right, number 2, study agenda. Item number A, Ephraim City Ordinance 26-02, Utah Wildland Urban Interface. There being I saw the guy out, saw his truck outside. Oh,
Did you have any public comment? Sorry, skip that.
there wasn't anything on the,
I just want to make sure.
I don't have any idea.
I don't know.
No.
It wasn't on the agenda, so I just kept going.
Press forward then.
There's no public comment.
Okay. So Jeff asked me to come and talk to you guys about the wildland urban interface ordinance. So made each one of you a packet.
This is Thomas Peterson, really.
Oh, yes, Thomas Peterson, the area manager for Utah Division of Forest Fire and State Lands.
For all those people out in Zoomville.
Perfect. So under the state of Utah's cooperative wildfire system, it is the system that allows us to pay the suppression bills on behalf of Ephraim City. So if you guys had a big wildland fire that come into Ephraim City or left Ephraim City and went on to state, BLM or forest, those costs would all be pooled together. And then the city would be responsible for their percentage of acres burned. The Municipalities can't afford that with the way suppression costs are today. Sorry, I got something in my throat.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk into the mic so the people on the
Okay,
or parts of the country can hear you.
okay. I've had this for like 2 weeks. So municipalities can't afford those costs. Neither can counties, the way suppression costs are today. It's easy to have $1 million fire that's less than a couple hundred acres. So the state of Utah says, hey, we will cover your costs on those kind of fires as long as you adopt the Wildland Urban Interface Code. In your guys' packet, you can see the map. Yep. What you guys identify as your wildland urban interface, that's where the homes and wildland intermingle, is completely up to the municipality. The state of Utah, the second page is our structure exposure score. So that 7 and above, you guys can kind of see that dark brown line. That's what Jeff and I sat down and felt was probably the best for Ephraim City to do their wildland urban interface code. So what that means is new homes that are built in that area would have to meet the wildland urban interface code. 10 years ago, that was a big issue because materials weren't built to meet that code. But now that the state of Utah, California, and all these other states have urban interface codes, most of your construction materials already meet that code. So any homes that are being built pretty well already meet the code as it is. The one thing it does do is it causes them to have to do their defensible space, which means they have to trim the trees back 5 feet from the home with no flammable vegetation. And then they can have trees and everything out to 30 feet, but they just have to be maintained. So it really doesn't change a whole lot, but that's part of entering into the CWS system with the state of Utah, is you've got to adopt that code. In the packet that I give you, it kind of talks about the defensible space. Most of your homes up there already meet that code. And anything that's already built is grandfathered. There's nothing we can do about that. We can't force them to meet the code. We can't force them to do the defensible space, nor can the city once they adopt the code. So any questions on the CWS system or the Wildland Urban Interface Code?
So I dug way too deep in this in the last week, reading up on it, right?
Good.
So these map, this one, I don't know what you call that map, but so all of the dark red are the bad spots, right? I mean, there's a.
So the dark red, that is,
High risk.
that's the high risk. That's the 95th percentile.
Right, so that doesn't. The different colors don't designate a different
Correct.
DWI, it's all DWI, right? Because
Yep.
none of the red ones are in Ephraim cities.
Yep. And that's, so those dark red, the very last map that I give you, I printed that in case that question come up. So last year, the legislature passed HB 41.
Yeah.
And homes that lie within those, that's where the fee is collected through the county, through the state. That's a whole different
deal.
animal.
But if somebody ends up building in this,
Then they would be subject to that fee. Yep.
only if they're in the city.
If they're in that dark red, whether they're in the city or the county, it doesn't matter.
What about the city buildings?
Do you have city buildings in that dark red?
That's all the,
So anything the county collects taxes on will receive that fee. So if the county doesn't tax the city buildings, so like the temple in Cedar City, it's in it, but they don't tax those buildings.
Yeah.
So it depends on what the county taxes.
just looking at this, I think the hydro's in that red area. And then the other two red areas are Jack and Ken's places, I think.
Yeah, who owns the house south of, Don Olson?
Oh, yeah. Don't.
That falls in
Yeah,
there.
that falls in.
Is that, okay,
I know that's not city, but.
Yeah.
When I was looking at the map, it showed, it appeared that house was in there.
But any existing structures are grandfathered in, right? So it's the next building.
into your guys' wildland interface code. Any structures that are in that currently in the high risk WUI,
Yeah.
they will be assessed that fee.
Somewhere between $20 and $100.
Yeah.
Based on square footage.
And there's some change going on right now with legislature, and that's why we kind of not really.
Yeah.
Got out ahead of this thing because it keeps changing on us, the law. So
Who's gonna be the inspector or whatever they call it?
we have to hire somebody to do those. And I think there's 60,000 in the state of Utah to do those lot
They're
assessments.
gonna hire 60,000 people?
Well, 60,000 assessments that
Okay.
have to be
Got
done.
it.
But it sounds like that's gonna get kicked back a whole nother year with this new House Bill 41 that's going through legislature right now, that
Gonna change it.
possibly.
So, Tom, when you say we, you're talking about the county and state will take care of that.
Yes, yep. The HB 41, that high risk WUI, the dark red, that has nothing to do with what you guys are doing tonight. I just know that every time I come to these meetings, that's the first question, and they think they're the same thing and they're not.
Okay.
So.
What about insurance? I asked Herman about that, but out on your website out here, it talks a lot about insurance. Does that only apply to the high risk?
So HB 48, so going away from CWS, HB 48, what that does for the insurance companies is right now, insurance companies don't want to insure a whole bunch of homes in the same location. So in the past, like St. George, they have considered them high risk and dropped lots and lots of people in those high risk wildland fire areas.
Right.
This requires the insurance companies in the state of Utah, they can only consider those dark red spots as the high risk.
Okay, so anything that we denote, our insurance shouldn't be.
Yep, has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
It will actually help the insurance, with being able to insure, because now they're meeting those codes. They're meeting that defensible space.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
So it only benefits the homeowners on the insurance side.
They're not gonna use that against them though.
No, nope. So now if an insurance company drops somebody because of high risk wildland fire, they have to be in those red areas to use that excuse.
Got it.
And then if they increase the rates, they have to publicly announce that and announce why. Before, they could just do whatever they wanted. So that was the original intent of HB 48, was to try and get ahead of this whole insurance issue that we've got going on across the whole nation. So.
So when we talk about where we're at in Ephraim City and the zoning, do we need to create a new zoning for that resident area? So that they realize the requirements that are different here versus other places that they build in the city? Would that be what's expected of the city council and the zoning and planning to do?
That would probably be a question for your planning and zoning, because all we are required is to make sure that you adopt the code and whatever you guys identify as those properties, that we have a map of it. So I don't know the inner process for the municipality itself.
How often do we need to visit this? I mean, how often do we need to look at this area? I mean, as more and more people get in or develop or whatever, the interface could be pushed up the hill.
Mhm. And that's one of the reasons that they really are pushing to adopt this code, is because as the municipalities start to incorporate more property,
Right?
they want them to already be ahead of the game and have that process ready and be able to do it. So some of the municipalities like Centerville, I mean, they legitimately have zero wildland urban interface.
Right.
So they're just required to adopt the code, give us a map saying they don't have any wildland urban interface. But as they incorporate, if they were to incorporate into the wildland urban interface, they'd already have that in place.
So by definition, if we're up against BLM or forest or state lands or whatever, that's gonna be urban wildlife interface.
Anywhere that the wildlands start to incorporate with the homes. It doesn't matter who the property owner is adjacent to it.
So even if it's private, you
Yep.
still have that issue.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep, the land ownership has nothing to do with the wildland urban interface.
Okay.
So you look at like Fairview, where they're incorporating up the hill, all of that property above them is all private. But it's still in the urban interface.
Better. I understand it better.
And I give you guys some other material in there that'll hopefully help kind of, show you what our goal is. There's some flyers on defensible space and some different things like that. This Wildfire 101, we just put this together, got it just a couple days ago. But it really helps educate on kind of what our goals are and what we're trying to get done. So.
All right. Any other ways we can rate Thomas?
The only other thing I would throw out there is you might want to pay attention to House Bill 41 that's in the legislature right now. And it might be worth holding on until after the 6th. In that legislation, there's the new Wildland Urban Interface Code, which is the 2024 code. So if they were to get House Bill 41 through, then you would have to adopt the 2024 code. So it may not hurt to see what that legislation looks like when it comes out, if that gets the 2024 code through or not.
So it won't replace the 48 code, it'll just be in addition to?
Just the Wildland Urban Interface Code. So right now you got to adopt the 2006 Wildland Urban Interface Code. If they're able to push the 2024 Wildland Urban Interface Code, then you'd have to adopt the 24 instead of the 26.
What would be the differences between those two?
There's a little bit of addition on residential sprinklers on major subdivisions. Not a lot. Most of it's the water system stuff.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. Feel free to reach out if you have any.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.
All right, Chief Hermanson, you're up for fire inspection ordinance.
Okay, so basically, we're looking to update this ordinance, which is old, and basically it's just doing some changing in it. Short-term rentals, which would be Airbnbs, VRBOs, anybody that's less than 30 days would initially be inspected, and then every year after that. Long-term rentals was the code before said every 5 years. Now we're taking it, so we take out single-family homes and duplexes. They will be just doing their own self-inspection, filling out the paperwork when they file for a business license. Triplexes and any multifamily dwellings will be initially inspected, and then every year after that. Every other inspection will be staying the way they are as a business inspection, so basically it's just changing taking single family and duplexes out. And anything triplex, multifamily apartment houses will stay on an annual inspection.
These are all the inspections you have to do.
Yeah, fire inspection.
So does this add to or subtract from your load?
It'll take away about 16 inspections. So it's not really changing a lot. We're just taking it.
How many are there?
How many single family homes are
How many
inspections?
inspections do you do in a year, do you think?
I did 195 last year,
Nice.
so.
But this only applies to people who hold a business license?
So then, this ordinance here is for rentals,
Just rent,
short-term, long-term rentals.
but they have to have a business license.
They still have to maintain a business license. Single-family homes, which we haven't been inspected right now, we've just been doing duplexes, but the single-family home and the duplexes we're taking away. Other cities don't do that because they have too many single-family and duplex rentals to take care of doing the inspection on it. So we'll just be doing multifamily, triplex and above, townhomes, anything where it's It's a bigger fire risk.
So it's single family and duplex, do they have to do a self-inspection every year?
They will fill out the self-inspection form when they do their business license.
That's annual?
Yes,
Okay. Perfect.
other is just some wordage changes and nothing too serious about it, so.
Cool.
Good.
Questions, concerns? Thanks, Chief. Study agenda, number C, road width change, Megan.
I gotta get my paper from the bank.
Okay, for the road width change. Right now in our code, it states that when you put in a road and private roads, you need to put in 24 feet of asphalt. Along with curb gutter and sidewalk. Fire code, however, says 26 feet. So we want to just change the width to 26 feet so it's consistent with fire code. So when someone puts in a road, instead of 24 feet, they'd have to do 26 feet of asphalt,
Just so Jeff can turn around his big old trucks.
essentially.
Yeah.
Any questions or concerns with that?
Yes, a fire truck that could turn around at 26 feet, that would be an amazing fire
Oh,
truck.
it might be thick.
Just take a little, that'd be awesome.
This seems pretty standard, what other towns would have, I would imagine,
Yeah.
we're just updating ours to.
Yeah, we're just updating it to make sure it matches in both places, so there's no discrepancy.
All right, I guess you got the next one too.
They have the next three.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so when we have, or this is for the sidewalk,
Can I ask a question?
No. I'm sorry. This is not time to ask questions, but after council, you can ask them questions. They're not voting on it tonight.
okay. Sidewalk requirement on private, it should say private, not public streets, because we already have that. So when we have a development that comes in, and they have internal private roads to access their development, so let's see, so the Ephraim Crossing, the new townhomes down there, right? So they have those internal roads to access those homes are all private roads. Historically, when developments have come in, they do put sidewalk along those private roads. I can't find one recently that there hasn't been that. And if from my understanding, that requirement's pretty plain in the code, but it's recently been challenged by a couple applicants. So we just want to make sure that it's very clear that if you are going to have, I'll just read, I didn't get this in here, I accidentally deleted it. So basically, if you have a private road to access your development, the 5-foot sidewalk will be required along private roads serving developments with multiple dwelling units, multiple homes, or multiple tenants. Sidewalks shall be designed to provide safe, accessible, and continuous pedestrian circulation between dwelling units. We just recently had a townhome want to come in and say, well, I feel like that's a little ambiguous, and they wanted their tenants or the residents living there to basically just walk in the road. And we just didn't really feel like that's safe. If there's going to be a development, we want to make sure that it's conducive to the residents living there. So we would just like to make it clear that even though it's a private road, you're still required to put a sidewalk, curb cut or sidewalk for the residents who live within those internal roads. Any questions or concerns about that one?
Is that 5 foot from back of gutter?
Yes.
I know it's been.
You have to talk in the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, from back of, yes. And that 5 foot is standard. That's just everywhere in the city.
That's a city or that's. the
Yeah,
city,
if you put in sidewalk, it's 5 feet, yeah.
Okay.
Very good. Guess you have the next one too.
I do. And the one after that. Okay, so we have been talking a lot about a lot of the development and things that are coming in. And one thing that we would like to do is for multifamily developments. Right now, every development that comes in has a certain landscaping percentage that they have to meet. Commercial, it's significantly less. Residential, it's about 20% of the lot needs to be maintained for landscaping. We don't have any requirements of what that landscaping needs to be. It can be xeriscape, but that does need to be provided. What we are wanting to do is developments of 10 or more units, so like townhomes, condos, apartment complexes, anything like that. The additional 10%, in addition to the already 20% of landscaping, an additional 10% will be required for amenities for the tenants that live there. We would like to see either like a little playground, pickleball courts, something that serves the residents that live there. We're going to come up with like options and kind of like a point system that if you just meet these requirements and you can pick and choose out of the amenities. So it's not like we're mandating what amenities have to be provided, but as long as there's something. For developments fewer than 10 units, we just want to see some amenities for the residents in there, but it can be included in the 20% landscaping. So there's no additional requirement. We're just thinking a lot of these multi-family developments, it's a lot of, everyone tries to get just as many units in as possible. And sometimes it has a negative effect on surrounding neighborhoods where it puts more impact on parks and people trying to get to places. So just some simple amenities that can really help the residents there have more of a community within their development.
What brought this up?
The new development going in on 200 West. So it's across the street from where Antonio redid that trailer park. There's going to be about, I think 34 units there. They're going to be more of like the flex home, but it's more like open space, kind of shared space. A lot of the residents there or surrounding there, we're very concerned that there's already children playing in the road. There's, that's going to increase kind of the residents who live down there. It would be nice for them to provide something for the residents. We don't have anything right now that requires it. We can request it. These developers have been wonderful to work with, and they took out some units and put in some green space and a little, they call it the tot lot, a little park with a pavilion and some benches and stuff like that. So they were really receptive to it. We don't always get that lucky. And so we would just like something that requires developers to be a little bit more thoughtful and provide something for residents. And it also to kind of help break up all the density and just trying to cram as much into their parcel as possible.
There was quite a bit of public comment during that. Manning is only, there's a number of people expressing that opinions.
No, we don't have to be like everybody else, but have you seen this in other municipalities then? Have you
Not a
done any research on the other municipalities have done this?
So I did talk to our attorney, who I didn't like pinpoint any, but I asked him if this is something that's, common or that is allowed, and he said absolutely. So.
Good, yeah.
I've seen this in a number of other, similar things in a number of other communities where, usually what I see is if you install certain amenities, you might get certain density bonuses. This is very similar to what, other cities do in that respect. So I don't know that I've seen exactly what, staff is proposing tonight, but I've seen things very, very similar in numerous other municipalities. Yeah.
So Megan, I'm just thinking driving down 7th North, going west there, you have those apartment buildings on the south side of the road and the townhouses on the north side of the road. if I remember right, the apartment building has a little park type area to the south of the buildings, and that's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Something like.
So they have a little park there, and then they also have like a pavilion area and fire pits and like, tables and chairs that the tenants can use and things like that. So we just want something that, you know,
So, but as I'm thinking though, on the townhomes, would they fall into this as well? Because I just think in that side of the street, it's just townhomes, right? So you,
yeah. So anything that's currently there would essentially be grandfathered in, but any new developments would
so if they
fall.
were to add a phase behind what they've already built, they would be expected to have some type of green space like we're talking about.
Yes.
Would they meet the 20% with all their little grass pieces and everything else in front of them?
Mhm.
That would be their 20% right now.
Yeah. Mhm. And with the small yards that they provide and,
Yeah,
you know, stuff.
They've got a pretty good backyard if you go in the back and look
Yeah,
at them. There's a pretty good grass stretch behind them.
But having said that, if they were to add another phase, it would then fall into this and it would be expected to have some type of spot there for people to gather, right?
Yeah. Again, this is just study agenda. We're open to thoughts and stuff on the numbers or anything. This is kind of what planning commission, we thoroughly kind of went through it. We've had a lot of suggestions. This is just where we landed. So basically, we're just kind of looking for your support to continue to pursue it. If you have suggestions, we're definitely open to that. So,
I think you're headed in the right direction.
okay, perfect.
Can I just ask a question as I'm thinking about it though, Mayor, if it's all right? If I do.
Please.
What if they were to put in instead of just a spot, but they do something like a bike trail or something throughout the place that's not one location with space, but it's spread throughout the community? Would that fit into what you're saying with this green space and amenities? Does that make sense? You're saying 10%, but if they spread that through like a trail walking through the place instead of a park or something, would that fit the idea?
I think, yes. So Brian and I have kind of discussed it, like, we're not expecting something super extravagant by any means. Like for the ones that have fewer than 10 units, maybe some extra trees and some benches and a little fire pit that people can use. It doesn't have to be extravagant. If they're doing like a walking path through their development where kids can ride their bikes and people can walk their dogs and stuff like that, we would be open to that. Yeah.
The commission or the planning and zoning, where they just start throwing out ideas, and that's kind of what the process is what we haven't specifically said this, or this.
And are we expecting to get there where, if you have, this needs to represent 5% of your total square footage or something, if you think of the lot sizes or of the total parcel square footage, we probably wouldn't use that, but I don't know, are we looking for some sort of?
For us, we just settled on like 10% because it was an easy number to define. Usually when someone submits their plans to me, they already call out 20% or however much percentage of landscaping, and we can see that on the plan. Like, this is gonna be grass, this is gonna be bushes, this is gonna be trees, rock is gonna be here. So it's just a little bit easier to kind of incorporate that into the plan and to visually see, okay, they met their minimum requirement for that.
One thing about it, 10% is it slides up with the property. If the property is 10 acres, it's so much. If it's 20 acres, it's so much. You get more green space and amenities. It's a sliding scale that's built into that.
Sounds reasonable as a practice. I think Camino Verde has been pretty good on that too. So
Yeah, I was gonna say their most recent application for the conditional use permit for the apartments, like, they've done a wonderful job at providing amenities, like in between walking paths, a clubhouse, pickleball courts, dog parks, fire pits, things like that. Like, so if you're gonna have density, we do like to see just those amenities. We want to just make it standard so that we can just expect it of every development.
Is there any thought going into place where as you're creating some of these green spaces, at the same time, you're also mitigating some of the hazards like flooding or some of those other things by providing some of these spaces where the water can flow? Are they thinking anything like that?
So we look at that with every development already, like drainage, things like that, to make sure that there's not gonna be a collection of water or, you know, so that's part of, you know, the process of making sure that it's a good development, so.
I think it's something to look into. I'm grateful that they're looking at it.
Okay, we'll keep going.
On the next one, sis.
Okay. We want to implement a short-term rental ordinance. We don't have anything in our code that talks about short-term rentals. We have a lot of developments coming in, looking at kind of running on the fact that they're going to be more affordable than what is currently on the market. With that, we don't want to see a bunch of investors come in, buy them up, make them Airbnbs or, you know, things like that. So this is kind of, we want to get ahead of this as well. We don't have a huge Airbnb problem here, but we do want to make sure that we're collecting that transient room tax, that they do have a business license so that if they're going to operate in the city, we are seeing that. We do just want to implement this just to make it a little bit more standard. This is very typical of what you see in other cities. One thing we want is local management. Sometimes people will buy a condo or a townhome and they use it as an investment property and Airbnb it. But we want to just make sure that there is someone local that we can get a hold of when there's issues or if there are complaints or things like that, because someone in California or wherever, I mean, we can't always get a hold of them. We see it quite a bit with people who own property and then move away. So we just want to make sure that there will be someone local on the business license that we can contact. The short-term rental license must only be issued to the legal owner of the property. So no subletting. So you can't rent from someone and then in turn use it as an Airbnb. You got to be the owner of the unit. Developments with 10 units or fewer. Only one unit may be licensed as an Airbnb or VRBO or short-term rental. So like if we have 10 townhomes and someone applies and buys that townhome and use it as an Airbnb, if there's only 10 townhomes there, only one license is granted to be used as an Airbnb, so that you move into your townhome and the 6 townhomes next to you are not being used as short-term rentals, essentially. Developments with more than 10 units. This will be subdivisions, condos, townhomes, apartments, PUDs, anything like that. No more than 10% of the total units could be licensed as a short-term rental. So if we have these flex homes that are coming in for the price point that they are, can't have someone buy 10 of them and use them all as short-term rentals. We just want to keep the integrity of neighborhoods and I mean, I live next to an Airbnb, 2 of them actually. I don't really notice very much, but we just want to make sure that as Ephraim continues to grow, that we have a Airbnb or short-term rental procedure in place, so we don't run into problems like St. George, Kanab, things like that. So there essentially will be a license cap in those developments. So you won't, if it's already been met, you just basically are waitlisted. You just got to apply when someone no longer wants to use their Airbnb. And then the 6th one that I forgot to put on there is that a business license is required. And we will charge a transient room tax. And if you're not licensed, you have to stop renting and utilizing it until you get licensed with the city, if we catch it or whatever, so.
There are 30-day minimum runner.
So it's, yes, under 30 days.
Is this kind of in line with what we talked about before when we were looking at trying to avoid saturating neighborhoods with Airbnbs? This is kind of the idea.
Yeah, this is kind of what we came up with instead of, I mean, we threw around a lot of things like a total number of licenses allowed for the city. only one Airbnb license per owner, or, you know, 1,000 feet, only in commercial zones, only in high density zones. So this is kind of what we've landed on as we've discussed and worked it through planning commission.
I can tell that you put a lot of time and thought into that, and I'm grateful that would you let them, the planning commission know that I'm grateful for the effort that they put into this, in thinking through this process.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
What about, did I miss it? What about in just neighborhoods now? One next to another?
So it'll be the same. So if there's a subdivision and someone comes in with a subdivision, depending on if it's 10 homes or less, only one of those homes in that subdivision can be, whether it's single family, apartment, anything.
What about existing?
Existing, they will be grandfathered in.
If they sell it, then they're out of the
Yeah, if they sell it,
they're out of the family.
then the new person has to apply.
They have to reapply.
Yeah, because our business licenses don't transfer.
Right.
So if they decide to sell it, then the next person doesn't get that privilege, so.
Great.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Don't go too far, you're up in here. Number 3, action agendas. Candace, from City Resolution 26.04, return to work policy.
All right, I won't bore you with all the details because I did that last time. This is just once again talking about the resolution for the back to work or return to work policy for workers' comp. Just to revisit this, we currently don't have one and have been relying upon best practices. The Utah Local Governments Trust has requested that we do adopt something, and I highly recommend it because it gives me and our employees something to go by when we have a workers' comp claim. Do you guys have any questions?
Our attorney, did you review this? Have you reviewed this?
I haven't reviewed this, yeah, this month, we emailed it to me several weeks ago and I reviewed it. So.
Questions, concerns, nothing? I guess I'm looking for a motion. You did so well. You just brought it up.
I motion, or I move that we adopt ECR 26-04 return to work policy.
How's Anthony Beal?
I second it.
That was Troy. Just be that way. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Jordan, awarding of the HVAC bid. Sure. How does HVAC fit into the rec department?
Long story. Yeah, basically we received 6 bids for the HVACs, the 5 units on the roof. We were gonna get one placed for the lobby that's not working, and they came and looked at it and said, hey, might as well just get them all done because it's just gonna go downhill from here. So okay. So that's what we're doing, all 5 right now. And the lowest bid was Strasburg HVAC, and we were just looking for approval to award them the contract.
How'd the bidding process go in this? Was there a specification?
Yeah, so what I did is, a company came in and said, hey, these are the types of units you're gonna need for each unit.
Which company?
It was
One of these?
Black Desert, yeah,
One of these guys?
one of those guys, yes.
Okay.
So we want to make sure everyone was bidding on the same units, and this guy came in and took a list of each unit and recommended what we'd need. So when we sent out the bids, we made sure they were bidding on each specific unit, which included the guard for the hail. Whatever that attaching it to the building, all that stuff they included in their bid, so everyone was bidding apples to apples. No one's trying to bid us on cheaper units that we couldn't use. So everyone was bidding on the same thing, and that's kind of how it worked out. And I can, if you're interested, I can send you the RFP that we sent out as well.
What else we get besides rooftop units?
a crane to bring them to the rooftop, attaching them. There's some HVAC turns that I wasn't familiar with.
Is there balancing going on to make sure, that, I mean, a full function test that,
What do you mean by balancing?
well, when they put the new rooftop, when they put the units into then, that they function, they're working, I mean, sometimes there's a third party person that comes into balancing onto it.
As far as I know, just we wanted to make sure that the people guaranteed their work, so I was assuming that was involved in it. I guess we'll make sure we have that included in the contract.
We're just talking about the rooftop units, though. You're not talking about changing any of the HVAC through the building that they use.
No, as far as, we have someone who maintains actually Strasburg HVAC maintains the ones in the building, and he's gone through that and services them, and they look fine. But both Strasburg and Blues Black Desert recommended we replace all 5 units on the rooftop.
No damage to any of the ductwork or anything that they need to replace with the ductwork by doing
As far as we know now, that wasn't really a concern.
Have we had recommendations from Strasburg? How did he get on the list?
What do you mean?
How do we know him?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if we look back in his history, is he credible? I mean, I don't, some of those I know, but I don't know him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying he won't do a good job. I just want to make sure that we've looked at his track record and he's not just
Yeah.
coming in a one-time thing and hoping.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one that currently maintains.
He currently maintains this building?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. I
didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I consider him to be reputable. Yeah, he's done a good job for us. He does the turkey barns as well.
Okay.
I mean, even though he's up in, I believe it's London where he's at. He comes down here whenever we need him, so I haven't had an issue with him.
Okay. That's what I said. We've had a past track record with him. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we've only had him for 6 months, but the six months he's been great.
All right, nothing else. I'm looking for emotion.
Good thing Lauren's got it.
Well, thank you. It's okay. It's all right.
Ask more questions.
No, it's all right. No, I mean, no, it's fine. It's fine. No, if he's done it and we feel like he's got, we're trusting you that, you've done your homework.
Yeah,
We're not trying to micromanage you in any way.
yeah. Well, and I know he knows stuff better than I do, Lauren, so.
No, I don't. I'm not a heating and air guy, but
Well, you're kind of an all
no,
around.
I'm just a glass guy. Okay, so, I propose that we accept the HVAC bid and give it to Strasburg.
Second.
That was Lauren and Anthony. All right. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Any opposed? By the way, our mayor pro tem said yes on the last vote. All right. Thanks. Megan, you're back up, citizens tour.
All right, you just get to see a lot of me tonight. This is a rezone request for Camino Verde Group. They have property right now that is zoned agricultural to meet the requirement that they agreed when they were sold the land by Ephraim City. Or I guess not this particular, all of this land, but they made an agreement to have a certain amount of industrial area. The I that you see there is currently Soap Creek, where the Soap Creek building is going to go. And just to the south where that A is, that green area within there is where they're wanting that industrial zone to be, and it'll be next. So it'll be a continuation of Soap Creek, and then it's next to a commercial zone. I did notice that this was also called out in Planning Commission. So if you see where Soap Creek is now, it's back in the red and not an industrial on the future zoning map. I believe that was an error or one that didn't get changed when we sent the change to Jones and DeMille. And I also noticed today that we have been unable to access our maps. So I think that there was an error on that side, but we've emailed them to get that corrected. So this will be a continuation of the industrial zone. It's not quite all the property there. This is just an estimate. I believe Dale Cox still owns some property over there, so it won't be next, or it won't be all of that land that was included in the agricultural zone. This is closer to our airport protection zone, so this is more conducive rather than having houses there as the airport expands and stuff like that. So Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval and staff feels comfortable with this zone change.
Just looking at I feel people in the past must have been crazy, all these little things. How many different plots is that? Like 9 different plots for 2 rezones? Good heavens, why couldn't they get along with their neighbors? Anyway, I'm looking for a motion.
I motion that we accept the Camino Verde group rezone, turn in that agricultural area into an industrial area, which matches our master plan and also protects the airport.
I second.
Brian, Jack. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed?
This next item is just a little change that we, well, not even a change, it's an addition to our code. When in the C2 zone, it is a mixed use zone, so you can have commercial businesses there, or you can have homes. When you build a residential development in the C2 zone, it states that it does adhere to the R4 setbacks and zoning requirements. We have it specified in another area where it goes over the requirements of the zone, but it was not included in the setback table. It's a standard that we've long held for residential developments in the C2 zone, that they follow those R4 requirements for high density residential. We were recently challenged on this because it wasn't specified in both places. So we want to make sure that it is clear, because what that looks like is if someone does a townhome development in the C2 zone, C2 commercial businesses have a 0-foot setback. So we don't want residential having 0-foot setbacks and being right up against each other. We want to maintain those setbacks. So it's a 20-foot front and rear setback and 8 feet on the sides. So we just wanted to make that consistent. So it was on the setback table and then also in the zoning requirements. It just says residential developments in the C2 zone adhere to the setback and density requirements of the R4 zone.
Anybody have any comments? Looking for a motion.
My motion that we accept the Ephraim City Ordinance 26-03, update the setback table.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? You said yes in the last one too. Got it, right, yeah. Perfect. Nothing else? Bingo time. 52 minutes.
54.
I like that.
Don't look that way.
I'm sorry.
We're not doing it.
All right, well, thanks for coming. Welcome to a new month.
Manager.
Didn't think we needed that tonight. Okay, city manager's report.
Tonight.
All right, I'm looking for a motion.
I motion that we end our city council meeting.
Second. Yeah, let's be done. Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? There's no opposition. Let's go home.